Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. And be comfortable yourself and relax your body. So let me get connected with our other students and then we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. And be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and pay attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully Enlightened One. So dear Dhamma practitioners, in these ongoing meditation sessions, we mainly focus to informations which we can develop ourselves and gain some kind of result for our conventional life. And at the same time, out of that conventional development, gain our spiritual success. So this both need to go hand to hand. It's like both eyes. So one eye is like the conventional world, conventional life. The other eye is like the spiritual life. So this both cannot separate. But sometimes we see when it comes to most of time, we are not capable to separately understand this. When it comes to conventional life, we try to understand life according to the conventional cause and effect. And at the same time, we try to use the same mechanism, measurements, experience to analyze the spiritual life. It doesn't work like that way. And even the spiritual life, we can't use the same measurement, the mechanism or experience to analyze the conventional life. It's both different but interdependent. So recognizing this will help us to let the spiritual life to be as it is, and at the same time let the conventional life to be as it is. Because we live with people, and we live in the society, and we live in the current time period. Also, this all belong to the conventional life. But that doesn't mean we have to stuck there. So recognizing this both separately is very necessary. Because when it comes to this spiritual development, one of the major profitable skill that you have to develop to see things separately. So that is the very beautiful skill you can develop through the Vipassana level. Because in the conventional life, most of time we try to see things as it is, and in that understanding, so we take with the names and forms, and with the we always take as kind of like a structure. But in the Vipassana level, we separate things. So that separation will help us to analyze deeply. Without separating, we can't analyze. And conventionally, without bringing all together, we can't develop the concentration. So this both very necessary, but it has a different nature. So then, as practitioners, always you have to remember, when it comes to practice, basically, you have to understand this fundamental nature. Because otherwise, sometimes, as ordinary people we use our emotional base and experience base, thought-related mind to understand everything. But it doesn't work like that way. So your thoughts depend on the words that you know. Because if you don't know the word, sometimes it is very difficult for you to think about it. So that's why from childhood we learn. And whatever the language, if you learn the language properly, what happened out of that, it helps you to think deeply. So, and if we become very limited to thinking pattern, there is no journey that can happen, go towards the liberation. So that's why practicing meditation allows us to settle down with the mind without thoughts. So that is a different way of mechanism. Because in conventional life, as we know, when we think about the knowledge and this conventional wisdom, we always use thoughts. But when it comes to meditation, in the tranquility level, we have to first settle down the thoughts. So that means beyond the thoughts, there is something. That is what we call the consciousness, awareness, recognition. Because you recognize something not by thoughts. After you recognize, maybe to explain it, communicate, you use the thought. But to experience, you no need thoughts. So when I tap to my hand, experience this touch or the pain, you no need thoughts. So that contact itself brings the experience. So like that in this very life, if you go beyond the thoughts, what's happening, you are capable to get into the direct experience. With your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Once you have the direct experience, you tune to the present moment. So that is another way that you can tune to the present moment through the direct experience. So once you tune to that level, in the present moment, you just have only the experience, not a kind of like a thinking and understanding, but you experience in that very level, you know what you experience, but it's not going to become limited to your thought capacity. So that is something different. So that's why to develop that quality, you have to have some kind of mental power. So you have to little by little, uplift your mental capacity. So that's why we have to practice certain way. For some people, no need that, but most of time, as ordinary people, for us, for some people, need some kind of guidelines and some kind of practice. So when it comes to practice, the very first step that you have to develop with the physically, practicing the posture, it's very necessary. For all of us today, if you look very carefully, because the mind is so busy, so this busy mind always in your body, and then the body become uncomfortable most of the. So because of that, what happened? You always try to move, do something, be with something, hold it to something, go towards something. That is the very nature of the mind. So once you are capable to calm down the body, it effect for your mind also to settle down a little bit. So basically, as a foundation, that's why you need the posture. Another thing is basically, once the body become disciplined for a certain level, naturally, your mind become disciplined, and with that, your awareness become more sharp and clear. So little by little, you have to practice, and at the same time, you have to remember, you do it for you. Most of time in day-to-day life, we do things for others. As parents, brothers, sisters, children, most of time we do things for others. Even when you work in a place, even though you get a salary, you have to do something for others. And you have husband, wife, children, parents, but sometimes in life, they can't help you. And you also can't help them. So in that very moment, the very condition of your mind, the very nature of your mind is going to help for you. So if you strengthen your mind with profitable skills, when situations come, then you can go through that. Otherwise, practicing like this doesn't mean you can stop things. No, things will happen, but you are capable to go through that. So very first level, you have to understand the very nature of the world. So this everything depend on the mind. Mind is the forerunner. Mind is the creator. Mind is the chief. So once you practice meditation, what you recognize, so now you know, basically the mind is the chief. Mind is the creator. So then you recognize mind change. There is no solid, unchangeable, concrete mind. Your mind change. In this very moment, your mind is look good, but in the very next moment, your mind become completely in a different nature. So that's why you can't depend on mind. But when it comes to our life, as ordinary people, we always depend on our mind. And not only that, the worst thing is we are depending on others' minds. But when you start to observe and recognize the very nature of mind, once you see it through you, you recognize your mind change. So that will help for you to not to depend on others. It doesn't matter whoever the person. Maybe for the moment, they love you and they take care of you, they have the good heart, and they do everything for you. And you also the same. Maybe you have the love, the compassion, empathy, and you do everything for others. But that doesn't mean you can't guarantee it's going to be there tomorrow. Maybe when you wake up tomorrow, your mind completely can change. It's same like the sky. It look like now like this, but there is no guarantee it's going to be there like that. So first thing you have to remember, your mind change and others' mind also change. So don't depend on that. So then you have to look, is there any capability, is there any wisdom have you developed in you to maintain your life without depending on the mind, without depending on this mental condition? But most of the time what we do, we try to condition it. Oh, we have to be like this, or that person have to be like that, she need to be like this, he need to be like this. We try to condition that, but it doesn't work. So you have to accept it. That is the nature of life. But when the attachment comes to you, when you don't see, what happens? It gets blind. It makes you kind of like a blind and dusty, cloudy, your mind, then you can't see. You can't see the reality. And then again and again, again and again, you get tangled inside your mind. So long time ago, there was a king. And that king had a very beautiful queen. And they were in a very nice and true, comfortable relationship as a husband and wife. So this king was so attached to this beautiful wife. And nothing wrong with anybody. And everything went perfect. But suddenly what happened? One day, this queen got sick in the morning, and by afternoon, even before the sun set, look, they had a very good life, but when the sun rise, she got sick, and before sunset, she died. And king was shocked, and he couldn't believe this, because this is the only thing that he loved in his entire kingdom. And she was so close to him. And now she died, he couldn't accept it. She gone. It's done, it's over, but he couldn't get it. He can't absorb that truth. What he did? He kept this dead body, and then he asked from his ministers to make a kind of like a medicine bathtub and put the body in that and preserve the body without allowing it to decay. So as you know, there are certain medicine, and nowadays we put it in kind of like a ice refrigerator to keep the body. But in the ancient time, people have put some kind of medicine, as you know, like pyramid. Inside the pyramid, this all the mummies, and it's still sometimes this skeleton they find after 1,000 years ago. So somehow this king put this queen's body, dead body, in that medicine tub, and then every day keep looking, and he can't accept that what happened. So then one of his ministers saw this, and there was a monk in the forest. And so somehow this minister knew about this monk, and he arranged a meeting, and he took the king and had the conversation with this monk. So in that moment, the monk gave some kind of advice for king to understand. So I think that is very important for all of us. So one of the important thing we have to understand, nothing is personal. Our mistake is not the worry or the sad or the disappointment. We develop an attitude and we develop a character to get the good things, the success, the happiness, the pleasure personal. And because of that, by the time what happened, that attitude, same way, work for the unhappiness, sadness, worry, disappointment. So that kind of nature. So one of the important thing you have to understand, this everything, if we look very carefully, it happened to all. There's nothing happened to me personally, it because me. We all in the same process. So when the sad things happen, worry, disappointment happen, you can't get that lesson. Why? Because in that very moment, the mind is so weak. How then you have to practice? When the good things happen, when the success is there, when you have the fun, when you have the joy, pleasure, remember, don't try to take it personal. Then you can give a try. Then the worry is not nothing. Then the worry comes, you are capable to take it kind of like as a common thing. So then always remember, that whatever the attitude you develop towards the comfort, it always going to be the same for the discomfort, because it's not something different, it's the same thing. So the one principle we have to understand, nothing belongs to us and nothing personal. So once you remind that again and again and again, you understand. Another thing is, this everything change, decay. It's not overnight. It happens, but we can't see. So, but still the king didn't get it, because this all we know. Every day we know, well, nothing is personal. Everything change. We all know that. But this enlightened master gave a very beautiful lesson for this king, why we can't understand it. Because we, as I mentioned from the beginning, we don't develop ability to understand things separately. We take things as together. We eat together, we dance together, we fight together, we cry together, we sleep together, always with something or somebody. Maybe with the people, you sleep with people, or if there's no people, you sleep with that, teddy bear, or maybe if there's no teddy bear, you sleep holding a pillow. It's in the monastic tradition, we learned something, that to be separate from that, the desire to hold. It's something, because it's deeply from childhood to when you put the children to sleep, what you do, you give something to them. Why you do that? Because you can't be there. You don't want to be with them. So you slowly give a teddy bear, or maybe pillow, or maybe something, or maybe a dog or the cat. People do that things. And then just imagine your whole system. your nerve system, and it responds to deeper into this entire biochemical reaction, that the nerve system depends on the emotions. So the emotions is the desire, energy that whatever flow through us build up our life. So then always you try to be together, live together. And sometimes some people want to die together. They don't want to die themselves. They want to die together. So like that, this nature to be, hold, gathering, holding is one of the reasons that we can't understand this change. So that's why you have to see separately things, separately. And while you see the landscape, we try to take that everything together, but while you're seeing it, can you separate the sky? Can you separate the mountain? And can you separate the cloud? And even so, in your life, the whatever come to you, you can separate it. And when you separate, you will see. So that's why sometimes there are people use technique called, then what? That is kind of like a, it's like a knife. You cut it, whatever. Then what? Especially to get out of the fear or the sadness, worry, disappointment, then what? So just imagine, you keep doing, you work so hard. Then somebody asks, why you work so hard? Because I need money. So if you don't have money, then what? Oh, I will lose this all, my house. So then what? And then, oh, maybe my wife or the husband will divorce me. So then what? So maybe then I become homeless. So then what? Oh, then maybe I get sick. So then what? Then maybe I will die. So then what? Then I will born. So then what? So then what? If you go deeper, 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 there's nothing. So the separation takes you to emptiness. But we have no capability to separate. The separation is a kind of like something very bad for conventional life. But, like when these rockets go to moon or space, it's go all together in the beginning. And by the time, what happens when they reach to a certain level, to go to the next level, they have to separate. And this commentator, and they say, oh, the separation was successful. And then everybody cheering, the separation make your journey more better. So then you have to understand in this life, change the definition that you carry within yourself in your life. And sometimes your journey is so unsuccessful because you have no power to separate. Separate from what? Separate from your deeper emotional barriers. You can't separate yourself, that this gathering that you hold it to yourself. So if you look very carefully, how you can go like this? Because someday you have to separate. If you don't do that, other things or the other people will separate from. So when it happens in that very moment, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to cry? You may see, like a few weeks ago, this Titanic was a very, popular story, that in that Titanic, the movie, when that guy, separate from that girl and went to the deeper ocean, what that guy called, come back, come back, but it didn't happen. So that's a very philosophical message that gave through that movie. One time I was reading that article, but very few people grabbed that philosophical drama that happened in our life, because with this giant things, the very passionate, very kind of like luxurious things, but suddenly in the middle of somewhere, and no one can help, that everything can disappear. That's the very true nature of us. So we all are kind of like a Titanic ship. In our head we are so big, and oh, we are the giants. Oh, I do better than everybody. So kind of like, but sometimes things can happen. There's no help for that. So that's why practicing this all give you. So once the king understood that, then the ability to separate will help you to let go this pain, and he recognized that, and he recovered from that pain, and he came back to the palace, and then pay the final respect for the queen and burn the body, and done it, and cleaned the palace, and he became more strong king to give all his strength and abilities to govern the kingdom. So it's the same thing in us also. If you are capable to understand this, it never make you weak. It make you more profitable, more productive, more creative person for yourself and for others. So that's why separation is never make you weak. Separation is never take you down. It always take you to the next level. But the thing is, when the separation going to happen, if you get paralyzed, and if you are emotional, that all the emotional nature going to attack you, and if you have the fear and hold it to that, and that will keep you in the same place, and not only the same place, it take you to the same journey, repetition, which we call the samsara. So observing moment by moment, inhalation, exhalation, you will see there is no single inhalation or exhalation you going to experience twice. Whatever experience in the moment, in this entire life, that is the only inhalation or exhalation you experience. So can you experience that with the very clear mind and giving your best to that? Because that is your life. And then you can expand that nature to outside. How you can then use that same nature to your outside world. So if you have the cup, and you have to remember, when you drink cup of tea, that is the only tea that you use in this entire life. It's not going to happen again. And then when you wash the cup, and you have to remember that is the first time and last time you wash that cup like that way. And you may not going to repeat it again, because who knows, maybe it will break down in the very next moment. Or maybe we're not going to drink any more tea. So that's going to be the last one, or the first one. And it's always you can tune to the everything. And when you go to bathroom, And when you clean the bathroom, and you have to remember that is you're not going to repeat it. That moment, that is in this entire universe, that is the only moment. Even this by hearing in this very moment. In this your life, in this entire universe, this is the only moment you're going to hear this. This is not going to repeat anymore. And when you go to market, and whatever the things that you find, and you have to remember that is the only moment. And it's not going to be there, maybe. So then maybe you put the cart somewhere, and when you put it, if you think you have that cart in your hand, and in this entire universe, you are the one who doing it. And that whatever you do, you don't do it half, and you don't leave it on the parking lot, and you put it in the right place, in right way. And even when you drive, and it's not going to be the same, even though you use the same road every day, that journey will never happen. And even when you cook, that meal will never happen in this your life, even in this samsaric journey. That conversation will never happen again in your samsaric journey. So whatever the action you do, it will never happen in you. So then, once you recognize that Dharma, you naturally tune to it, and you go deeper into it, and you make it more profitable. And out of that, you bring the completion. Just that action. And if you can live one day like that, most of your difficulties will disappear. And the most of the angels start to have a conversation with you. If there is a God or the Creator, they start to communicate with you. And if you look for really liberation or the Nibbana, you start to see the guidelines within your own thoughts. So that's it. It's within ourselves, and how we can tune to that rhythm. And once you tune to that rhythm, and you recognize this life is irreversible, that itself detach you from this all the moments that you experience. So that detachment, separation. Oh, separation happens. Oh, journey successful. So like that, step by step, your separation make you more and more closer to your own liberation. So try to start it with the observing inhalation, exhalation. And after that, start to bring it to your day-to-day life. Rather than collecting, gathering, holding, clinging, separation. You do things properly, you separate from it. Then nothing to collect, nothing to let go. But you still enjoy the journey, experience the journey to the highest. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left, and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say so patveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment, with this sitting, May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the inhalation and exhalation as it is. So in the beginning, deeply and gently inhale, exhale 3 times, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it, do nothing extra. So if your mind go here and there, bring it back again and again, just settle down. And then by the time, experience the moment and see the change. And beyond that change, and experience the emptiness. Bring attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, the stars, reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. Your left side. Into your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy. Without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhamma anudhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribundissami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.